All around us, growth is accelerating. In the next years, nearly 30,000 people are expected to move into the Spring Woodlands area. That's 30,000 souls searching for connection, purpose, and hope. God is sending people right to our doorstep, and as a church, we have to ask ourselves, are we ready? Spring Baptist Church has stood for over 112 years because of the bold faith and generosity of those who came before us. Something we must never forget. In 1959, the small congregation led by God's leading moved from Old Town Spring to our current campus. This was a decision that took sacrifice and vision.
That's good planning by the people who were ahead of us and the ones that were there when we first got there. Grateful for the people that came before us, and we're glad we can be a part of trying to keep it set up so that it can continue.
As a legacy church, we may wonder, is that it? Does God have another chapter to write for Spring Baptist Church? Let me assure you, He does. Now it's our turn, our moment for vision, sacrifice, and faith.
It's a pretty good sized church, a big church by all standards, but it feels like a small church. And it has that small church warmth, friendliness, and love. When we first came, everybody around us was just welcoming and loving, and we definitely felt like we were where we belong.
You see, we're not a church that waits for impact. We create it because the gospel demands movement, and our community needs Jesus more than ever. We don't just do missions, we have a mission, and there's a difference. Acts 1:8 gives us our assignment. You will be my witnesses in Jerusalem, in all Judea and Samaria, and to the ends of the earth. That means we start right here, in our homes, in our neighborhoods, in Spring, Texas. God is moving. He's bringing people to us, right to our front door. The question is, are we ready to meet them with love, truth, and the hope of the gospel?
See a lot of young families coming into the church, which is really encouraging. And that shows up in the kids programs. We have a great children's choir program, and so a lot of kids get involved that way. The family gets involved with it. Mom, dad may not want to, but he's got to come see his kids sing, that kind of thing. There's a lot of places to help draw, and just by having great services.
Worship is at the center of who we are. It's where we come together as a church family to lift high the name of Jesus, and where guests often take their first step toward faith. That's why we're completing the final phase of our worship center renovation, a project that we began in 2017. We're installing fixed stadium-style seating that increases capacity and comfort, refreshing the hallways and entrances for clearer wayfinding, and upgrading our cameras and media technology so that those who worship online can have the same excellent experience as those in the room. This is about making space, not just physically, but spiritually, for more people to have an encounter with Christ.
Yes, the pews are nostalgic. For us to accommodate more people, we have to be able to get more people in the room. We have to make sure that they're comfortable being in the room. New seating will allow us to do both of those.
Connection happens in hallways, classrooms, and entry points, in the everyday moments where people feel seen, safe, and welcomed.
It's such a joy to be at the front of the church and invite new people in and seeing the next generation coming through the doors. And, I look forward to that every Sunday.
As God leads more people to our church, we want to ensure we've done our very best to create spaces that are warm, inviting, and engaging. We're addressing long overdue maintenance like roof repairs, replacing worn carpet, and updating paint in high traffic areas.
Being so involved in the facilities side, I get to see the interworkings, if you will. We try to do a great job with making sure that the paint is nice and the carpet is nice and the restrooms are clean and everything is working correctly. But in the facilities that we have, they're aging. The age of the roof in many parts of the building is 20 plus years. It significantly stood longer than its lifespan.
We're also upgrading our signage so guests know exactly where to go. and improving safety through secure entry points, especially for our children and students. But this isn't just upkeep, it's preparation. Every upgrade helps us create an environment where real relationships can take root, faith can grow, and lives can be changed.
To be able to see the members grow over the years, and they come in holding mom and dad's hand, and now they're coming in holding their babies. It's just amazing to see these families just continue to come to Spring Baptist and help it grow.
So for several years, I wanted to get baptized and finally made a decision once I became a member at Spring Baptist.
Allie wanted to be baptized when she told us she was ready. It was beautiful. It was beautiful to see my daughter and my husband both be baptized on Father's Day.
I love Spring Baptist because Pastor Mark encourages every member not to be stagnant in their walk with the Lord, but to be doers of the word.
Makes me want to cry.
A very emotional and a proud moment. And then not just 1 year later, Sadie steps up and my wife both come and get baptized the same day. So in 2 years, I had 3 baptisms, and it was just 4, and counting me. So it was fantastic.
I got baptized at Spring Baptist because I love Jesus.
What I really like about Pastor Mark is what you see is what you get. He's no nonsense. He preaches the word and only the word, and he doesn't put any fluff behind it. If Jesus said it, he's going to say it, period.
Social life has changed. Everything has changed, but our church has stayed faithful to the word. And so that's one reason that we're still there, is because the word is taught and the pastors believe in it and they try and live by it. And so that's been the strength of our church, has been the teaching of the word.
Stewardship means honoring what God has already entrusted to us and preparing wisely for what's next. That includes paying off the remaining debt on our student center and other projects. Like many churches, we were impacted by the pandemic and inflation, but God has been faithful, and so have you.
There was a young couple that were impressed with the fact that we tithed when we were quite young. And they said, we just lay out our bills and all, and by the time of the end of it, we don't have time for tithing. And we said, you're doing it backwards. You tithe first, and then the Lord provides for what's left. And it just works that way. And you can't understand it. Like everything God does, you can't really understand it, but He works it out. And so I would go that route with telling these kids, you put the tithe first, and then the Lord just works out your bills and everything else that you have, and it blesses you. There's your blessing.
By eliminating debt now, we free ourselves to move forward into the next phase of our master site plan with financial strength and spiritual clarity. It's not just good sense, it's good stewardship. This work is estimated to cost $5.8 million over the next 2 years, a significant investment for sure, but one we believe God will provide for as we step out in faith together, just as those who've gone on before us sacrificed to build and care for the spaces that we now enjoy today. It is now our turn to take up the mantle, preparing for the people God is bringing next. So what are we asking you to do? First, pray. Ask God to open doors for us to reach people that He is sending. Second, be faithful in your giving. If you already give, thank you. If not, start today. Third, give generously and sacrificially. Help us finish what others began and position Spring for the next 20 years of ministry. And finally, we need every household to fill out a commitment card. This helps us plan wisely and move forward in faith. Some of you may be asking, why do we have to fill out a commitment card? Well, because it helps us plan. And that's part of being a wise investor. It's part of being a good steward. And so we're asking you to do this, not because it's binding or anything like that, but just to help us plan for our next steps. Just like the generations before us, we are building for those we haven't even met yet. Let's not miss this moment. Let's not just watch the impact. Let's be the impact. The time is now. God bless you.